Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of BTTH Rebirth of Emperor Yang episode number 284 based on novel. So let's start. In the next few days, Tianyun Mountain Villa calmed down a lot, and the storm caused by Tai Astrolabe hasn't subsided yet. However, after Wu poison incident, many people in Tianyun Mountain Villa learned that there will be a huge storm, which makes many people quiet down, and the atmosphere in the city has become somewhat repressed. I don't know when, the news about Xiao Yang and other outsiders entering the villa spread quickly as if they had grown wings. So far, the people of Tianyun Villa knew that Wu poison came to the important person that day, but it was not a lie. Even if some people put their mind on this group of people. I said, originally, our Tianyun Villa and Nadui sect were well water and did not invade the river. Now why should we fight against Du sect for these people? Du sect is supported by Wu Juna and other source strong men. Can it be that there will be strong people in these people? Hey, what source venerable strongman, the one who has the strongest cultivation among them is just a 2-star source emperor. This kind of strongman is not a handful in the middle region. He is more like a fly than Du sect. The villa leader can fight against Du sect for the sake of so many people, isn't he? Shut up. Be careful that evil comes out of your mouth. Outside the manor, several young people were sitting around, talking about each other. A middle-aged man passing by heard it, but suddenly scolded. Even if they were scared, they all shut their mouths. Then they glanced at these young people. There was a smell of hatred for iron and steel in their eyes. The person with the strongest cultivation among them is just changing the source environment. Instead of stepping up time for cultivation, he sneers at a strong source emperor here. If they are not young and vigorous, he must give a good reprimand. Seeing these people running away, it seemed that they had to leave their sight. The middle-aged man turned his mouth and immediately paced into the manor. In a moment, he saw the leader of Tianyun Mountain Villa, Luo Cheng, in a hall. Villa leader, everything has been done. Seeing Luo Cheng, the middle-aged man threw a respectful fist and said respectfully, "Well, it's hard for you. In the past few days, I'll bother you to control more and block up all the words they shouldn't say. At this time, no one can have another heart." Luo Cheng nodded softly and said softly. When the middle-aged man heard the speech, he nodded respectfully at once, but then he looked up at Luo Cheng with a suspicious face and hesitated a little. "Villa leader, is it really because? I know you all have doubts. I'm afraid I said it to appease the people, but it's true. For so many years, our Tianyun Villa has been reduced to the end of the 4 main gates. I've been blinded. Now, it's always time to fight together. Crossing Erzong is a beginning." At the end of the sentence, Luo Cheng's tone again surged with dignity and overbearing, which made the middle-aged man's face positive, even nodded heavily and bowed back. Under Luo Cheng's deliberate deployment, all the negative news about Xiao Yang and his party in Tianyun Villa was suppressed. At the same time, another news that shocked everyone in Tianyun Villa came out again. Tai Astrolabe can be listed on the Tianyun Holy Ware list because of Xiao Yang and his party. Once the news came out, many people turned pale. No one believed that an outsider could have such ability. But with the silence of the top leaders of Tianyun Villa, naturally, the number of people who hold views on this matter gradually decreased. Coupled with Luo Cheng's suppression, soon, Xiao Yang and his party were supported by many people in the villa. Luo Cheng not only supported them, but also had doubts. Today's Xiao Yang is only a source emperor after all. Looking at the middle region, such cultivation is not strong. Because of the 2-1 astrolabe, the fate of the whole Tianyun Villa is pressed on him. Luo Cheng doesn't know whether it is right or wrong. I have to say that it's a big bet to use the whole Tianyun Villa for the sake of Xiao Yang. In the courtyard where Luo Ao is located, Xiao Yang came to retrieve Zhuan Chongqi and Luo Tianding according to the agreement, and the two were completely restored. This was also the end of Xiao Yang's mind. On the other side, in a hall, Luo Chengjing sat in the middle with a frown. On the other side, the elder Luo Xiong was in front of them. An elder is telling them the news about Dui Zong that he has detected recently. According to the information detected, Dui sect is integrating the strong in the sect in recent days, and it is not difficult to see that they are preparing a hard battle. As for who the opponent is, it is needless to say. It seems that Xiao Yang and his party are still very attractive to Dui sect, whether it is from Xiao Yang's killing of senior elders in the sect or because of 2 pairs of distress poisons. These are enough to make them crazy. It seems that in this gambling game, it is not only his Qianyun villa, but also Du Erzong himself. Elder, what do you think? After a little hesitation, Luo Cheng immediately looked at Luo Xiong with a smile. There was a firm color in his eyes. Haha, since the villa leader has a final conclusion in his heart, why ask me? If Du Erzong really doesn't pay attention to our Qianyun villa, then we should tell them that our Qianyun villa is never afraid of him. If he wants to fight, fight. Luo Xiong said a word. Luo Cheng smiled and got up. His eyes fell on the bowing elder in front of him and said, Elder Luo Zhen, do you know? Hearing the speech, Luo Zhen quickly bowed down and hugged his fist and said, I see. I'll call the strong in the villa and inform everyone to prepare for the battle. When he said this, Luo Zhen's old eyes also showed the color of fire. Qianyun villa has been silent for a long time. Now, people in the middle region must understand that Qianyun villa is still one of the top forces in the middle region. In the next few days, Qianyun villa still seemed calm, but under such calm, it was a fierce undercurrent. The mountain rain was coming and the wind filled the building. Everyone knew that it was just a prelude to the storm. It was both short and frightening. Although Du Erzong and Qianyun Mountain Villa are thousands of miles apart, they are already tit for tat, which has attracted some people's attention from the outside world. While the 2 forces are preparing for each other, Du Erzong unexpectedly welcomes them. While Qianyun Villa and Du Erzong are preparing separately, Xiao Yang in Qianyun Villa is naturally not idle. In the recent continuous cultivation, his cultivation is completely stable in the cultivation of Xingyuan Emperor and Bai Hua. After seeing the power of Wu Du that day, Xiao Yang had a deeper understanding of Dui sect. He was able to rank among the 4 major forces and had a powerful sect of the source of the strong. It is not hard to imagine the terrible nature of Dui sect. Although Qianyun Villa helped him this time, if Xiao Yang was not fully prepared, he would be afraid of this war. He has to be completely planted in the middle region. Thinking of this layer, Xiao Yang turned his attention back to his 9 incarnations while feeling dignified. Cultivation accomplishments are consolidated for the time being, and it will be impossible to improve them in a short time. Fighting skills and body methods still need time to practice, and it is also difficult to make progress. In contrast, the 9-turn incarnation formula has much more room to improve. Relying on Xiao Yang's current financial resources, it is not difficult to accumulate the cultivation accomplishments of the 9 incarnations in a short time. If good luck breaks through Yuan Huang, that's a big help. In the bedroom, Xiao Yang sat on the bed, his eyes closed, and the majestic soul power poured out and turned into 9 incarnations. At the moment, in front of each incarnation, there are a lot of spirit stones. With the rapid operation of the skills in the 9 incarnation body, the majestic energy is also rapidly flowing into the 9 incarnation body, and the body of the 9 incarnations, it also becomes more and more solid. After several days of crazy absorption, Xiao Yang seems to have consumed more than half of the spiritual stones piled up like a mountain in Xiao Yang's ring, including many intermediate spiritual stones, which are cherished by Xiao Yang, but he doesn't dare to be stingy for the cultivation of these 9 incarnations. Under the indiscriminate bombing at the cost of spiritual stones, at the same time, the absorption rate of source qi by Judao Avatar has slowed down a lot uncontrollably, and even the demand for source qi has become more and more huge. Finally, when the spirit stone in Xiao Yana ring will be consumed, the absorption of source qi by Judao Avatar finally stops completely, and their accomplishments have stagnated at the peak of the Source King. The cultivation of the 9 incarnations stagnated. This sudden change naturally surprised Xiao Yang. However, after Xiao Yang searched, the result was exactly like this. Although the 9-turn incarnation formula can condense the 9 incarnations comparable to the body cultivation, it is still a human-level fighting skill after all. It is not easy for the incarnation cultivation to enter the realm of the Source King. The Source King is at the peak, it is the limit of the 9-turn avatar formula, and it is doomed that the strength of the 9 incarnations will no longer be possible to improve. In this regard, Xiao Yang was also quite helpless. Who could have expected that such a mistake would happen when Duerzong committed it in the future? In this way, Xiao Yang's overall strength will be affected to a certain extent, which is undoubtedly bad news. Who? Before the bed, Xiao Yang exhaled a long breath of turbid air held in his chest, and his eyes twinkled rapidly. Since the strength of the 9 incarnations has been suppressed, the only cards he can expect now are those powerful fighting skills. While Xiao Yang and others are waiting for the arrival of Duerzong in Tianyun Villa, in the depths of the endless void in the northern sky, before the Golden Cave, at this moment, 3 figures are standing impressively. Oh, yes, the 6-star source sect is much stronger than I expected. It seems that you have benefited a lot from the Dragon Cave. The old man in the golden robe smiled at the handsome young man with blonde hair in front of him. His eyes were more satisfied. This also attracted another person to laugh constantly. For this, the blonde young man scratched his head at a loss. He immediately thought back as if he remembered something. His eyes returned to the old man in front of him and hurried to say, "Patriarch, you promised me to leave the Dragon Clan if I entered Yuanzhong. Now. Hey, you boy, I've worked hard to cultivate you for so long. How come you just came out of the Dragon Cave and thought about that boy?" The young man's voice didn't fall, and then he was interrupted by the old man's laughter with ridicule. The person referred to in his mouth is naturally Xiao Yang. At the moment, the blonde young man in front of him is Xiao Jin, who was taken away from Xiao Yang as early as the beginning. Over the years, Xiao Jin has also changed greatly. He has not only changed into a human shape, but also stepped into the realm of Yuanzhong. If you really want to say, such a speed is much more terrible than Xiao Yang. Of course, it is inevitable that there are various rare resources of the dragon family, but at the same time, it is inseparable from Xiao Jin's own efforts. Listening to the old man's laughter and scolding, Xiao Jin smiled and looked forward to the old man. Seeing his pathetic appearance, the former couldn't help smiling and shaking his head. He had to laugh and scold the white-eyed wolf. That's what he said immediately. That boy is now in the middle region. If you want to go there, I will let Long Lin accompany you. Hearing the speech, Xiao Jin's face suddenly changed greatly, which also attracted the old man in front of him to look at each other with the dragon scale on one side. The latter reluctantly shook his head, then looked at Xiao Jin, gently raised his head and said, "Let's go." As soon as the word fell, Xiao Jin immediately followed behind Long Lin, and the two fled one after another towards the dark void. Later, the old man looked at the back of the two people and couldn't help laughing and shaking his head. Immediately, he took a deep breath slowly, frowned slightly, and whispered, "I don't know whether my little Jin is stronger or weaker than the dragon girl of the Zijin dragon family." The old man's turbid eyes glittered with expectation. After many days, Duizong finally took action again. The vast team came to Tianyun Villa. In the villa at this time, the villa leader Luo Cheng, the 7 heroes of Luo family and a group of elders had been waiting for Duizong's arrival here. When the array cover over the city was opened from the inside, a team with strong inside information also appeared in the eyes of the strong people of Duizong. This time, Xiao Yang and his party stood out. In addition to Liana, even the little medical fairy was here. They knew that Luo Cheng could not deceive Wu Du last time, otherwise, the latter will not make such a big attack as today. Therefore, he will be ready for the First World War today. In Tianyun Mountain Villa, countless people stared at the figures spread all over the sky outside the city. The magnificent and amazing poisonous fog poured out from these people's bodies and quickly shrouded over Tianyun Mountain Villa like a dark cloud. The original bright light in the city also became a little dark at the moment. The golden runes engraved on the city wall also emitted bursts of golden light at the moment. It seems to have predicted something, resisting the spreading poison fog. Are these people from Duizong? They are really big. They all came for Xiao Yang. It's not just Xiao Yang and his party. Our Tianyun Villa has always been at odds with Duizong. Although Xiao Yang is on the one hand, this war is also a crackdown on our Tianyun Villa. Don't think so useless. Looking at the dark crowd in the sky, the city below is in a commotion. Although many people will still blame the cause of the war on Xiao Yang and his party, naturally many people can really understand the cause. They are not fools. How Du Erzong behaves? These people naturally look at this war. It's not just about the safety of Xiao Yang and his party. The poisonous fog surging and spreading outside the city, like a dark big hand, invaded the city wall, but was instantly repulsed by the array on the city wall at the moment of touching the city wall. Golden lights gushed from it and shot into the poisonous fog. It didn't stop until it was repulsed to 100 meters away. Luo Cheng, now hand over our saint and the curfews who killed our elders. We still have room for turning around. Otherwise, today will be the day when your Tianyun villa will be destroyed. When the people in the city were frightened by the layers of poisonous fog over the sky, among the people outside the city, an old voice with the meaning of majesty and hegemony was also mixed with vigorous source gas, like a bell singing into the city, and finally resounded clearly in everyone's ears. Saint! Don't you say that misfortune is poisonous? The saint of Dui sect is in our Tianyun villa. No wonder Dui sect will mobilize the public like this. Naturally, many people in the city know about the rumors about the saints of Dui sect, but now they hear the old voice. They understand that they can't imagine that the saints of Dui sect will appear in his Tianyun villa. I'm afraid it's really not small. Unless Luo Cheng really will hand over these people, but the fact is that Luo Cheng won't do so. As the old voice fell, several figures dressed in purple robes slowly stepped into the air, and immediately stopped in the void not far from Luo Cheng and others. Their indifferent eyes swept over the people opposite. Finally, their eyes stopped at the side of Luo Cheng. On Xiao Yang dressed in black robes, the expression on his old face also became gloomy. Among these people, the first three are Xu Shuang, who chased Xiao Yang and his party all the way. Beside them, in addition to several powerful Dui sect elders, there is a figure wrapped under a black robe. Although he can't see his face clearly, it also brings an inexplicable pressure to Xiao Yang. This also makes the latter's face change slightly. Hehe, Xu Shuang, since you have brought so many people to our Tianyun villa, the purpose is very clear. Why say that kind of ridicule? Sooner or later, there will be a war between us. Since you can't wait for Du Erzong, I will accompany you in Tianyun villa. If you want someone, take it yourself. In the face of Xu Shuang's threatening words, Luo Cheng just disdained to sneer. When the words in his mouth fell, his body also shook violently, and a surging strong breath also poured out from his body, forming an invisible wave of energy, sweeping away at Xu Shuang and others. While Luo Cheng's breath swept outward, Xu Shuang and his party on the opposite void also took a half step forward, and a strong momentum poured out from their bodies, easily resisting the oncoming invisible wave. Since Villa leader Luo said so, we are no longer polite today. Take them down. With a low cry, Xu Shuang's face suddenly became gloomy. With a fierce wave of his dry palm, his body rushed forward. At the same time, the elders of Dui clan behind him all followed in unison. Luo Cheng sneered, stamped the void heavily on the soles of his feet, and a circle of golden light spread under his feet, and quickly covered his body to form a layer of array cover. Form an array and meet the enemy. At the command of Luo Chengdang, even if he led the strong men of Tianyun villa to rush forward, a burst of dazzling golden light burst out from their bodies. At the same time, his hands quickly sealed, and mysterious and strange runes quickly swept out. He formed various arrays around his body and collided with Xu Shuang and others. War, imminent. Behind them, the 7 heroes of Luo stood tall and did not take care of the battle circle where Luo Cheng and others were located. Their opponent was Wu Poison. He, the 7 heroes of Roche, I've only heard of your name in the past, but I've never had the honor to fight with you. Today, this opportunity still comes, but today, it's doomed to be your death. With the war between the two sides, all the strong men above Yuan Huang in the sky collided at one place. Only at this time, in front of the 7 heroes of Roche, on the empty void, suddenly and slowly twisted up, and Wu Du's figure also appeared. His sight swept one by one from the 7 heroes of Luo's family, and Wu Du's mouth burst into a sneer. He is determined to win the war today. He will not only bring Xiao Yang and others back to Tianyun villa, but also be destroyed today. Lord Wu said the same thing. My 7 brothers have not fought with the strong of Yuanzuan for many years. Today, let me see how much strength the so-called Lord Dui sect has. At the same time, a burst of fierce golden light also condensed on the surface of the 7 people at this moment, interdependent and integrated, so that the momentum emitted by the 7 people was more horizontal and close to the source of the strong. The so-called 7 heroes of Rosh are not separated from each other. They have a high level of array skills, but if you only rely on the 7 of you, you can't compete with me. You'd better take out the Tai Astrolabe. I know that the reason why the 7 heroes of Rosh are famous is that they rely on Tai Astrolabe. Unfortunately, it's one. While Wu Du sneered and stared at the Tai Astrolabe taken out by Luo Xiong from the ring, the expression on his face suddenly solidified. Looking at the smooth and perfect white jade array in Luo Xiong's palm, the words on his mouth were also momentarily stagnant, and the original disdain in his eyes gradually turned into shock and disbelief. Hehe, I'm sorry to disappoint you. The Tai Astrolabe has been restored. Now the Tai Astrolabe is a real 9th order array. At the same time, a dazzling golden light swept through Luo Xiong's hands at this moment. At the moment when the golden light in Luo Xiong's palm swept through, a series of energy beams like substance burst out from the array plate. The golden light shone and outlined mysterious runes over the whole Tianyun Villa. Huge golden light clusters condensed in the void and implicated each other until they enveloped the whole Tianyun Villa, which gradually stopped and finally came to an end. A huge array has finally been completely formed. The vast momentum and pressure are also emerging from the arrogant array at this moment. This pressure is not weaker than Wu poison in front of us. Is this the power of the 9th order array? It's really terrible. Within the array, Xiao Yan stood up and felt the terrible momentum around him. His face could not help changing again. It was worthy of being a 9-level array. Such momentum was really terrible. With the cultivation of Luo Xiong and other Yuanzong, it was unimaginable that he could condense the terrorist momentum comparable to that of Yuanzuan. If this is changed to the source of the strong to gather control, how powerful the power shown by the Tai Astrolabe will be. Has it been repaired? Seeing the terror array enveloping the whole Tianyun Villa, Wu Du's face became dignified. Apart from the 7 heroes of Rosh, he had heard of the reputation of Tai Astrolabe. If the 9-rank array released its real power, it would be a terror that could compete with the strong ones of Yuansheng. Although these manipulators are only the strength of the Source Clan level, the power of this array cannot be underestimated. One of the reasons why the array plate is terrible is the people who control the array plate. The other is the powerful forces contained in the array plate itself. Once these forces are released, even the strong at the level of Yuanzuan should avoid the edge for the time being. What's more, the 9th order array plate is still in front of Wu Poison. Wu Poison, let's see today whether you are a powerful person of Yuanzuan or the family protection array of my Rosh family, which is better. As soon as Luo Xiong shouted, the bodies of the 7 people in the sky quickly dispersed. They stood in one place of the array and guarded one side. With the continuous injection of internal qi and soul power into the 7 people, the breath in the array became more and more terrible. However, Xiao Yan was surprised to see that in the face of the strong response of Luo's 7 heroes, at the moment, Wu Du's face gradually recovered, and even a sneer was aroused at the corners of his mouth, which also made Xiao Yan's heart surge into an uneasy mood. When the power inside the array reached a critical point, Wu Poison outside the array gave a sneer with sarcasm. His indifferent eyes slowly swept over the 7 people one by one. Finally, he looked at Xiao Yan and others. Then he slowly opened his mouth and said, Luo Xiong, the Tai Astrolabe has been repaired, which really surprised me. However, I have said that today, don't fight. If you want to fight, it will be the day when your Tianyun Villa will be destroyed. This has never changed. With Wu Du's cold words falling, he suddenly patted his palm and burst into applause. When it echoed between heaven and earth, the void on one side of his body suddenly twisted. Immediately after that, an old man in black robe and grey hair appeared on the void. At the moment of the old man's appearance, the 7 heroes of Rosh in the array, the look on his face is an instant upheaval at the moment. Ghost fall. At the moment when the alarm sounded, the majestic momentum and pressure in the array suddenly surged up. In the city below, countless people looked up at the figure appearing again in the sky. At first, they were slightly stunned, But then after they heard the exclamation from the 7 males of Roche, the expressions on their faces turned into horror. Ghost Fall? Ghost Fall, is he the deputy head of the Ghost Break Door? Ghost Fall. Why did he even come here? This guy has entered the realm of Yuanzuan since his cultivation in the early years. He is also a famous Yuanzuan strongman in the central region. Why did he get involved in the affair between Tianyun Villa and Duizhong today? The situation is not good. If Ghost Fall joins hands with Duizhong, then there are 2 strong men in Duizhong's convenience. In this way, will our Tianyun Villa not be in danger? The appearance of Ghost Fall immediately caused a commotion in the city below. Many people's inner emotions couldn't help tightening up, including Luo Chixiong, Luo Cheng and others. It was also unimaginable that Ghost Break Gate would also participate in the dispute between them. As for Xiao Yang at the moment, after hearing the comments of the people in the city below, the dignified look on his face has become much more gloomy at the moment. Since he is the person of the Ghost Temple, he naturally understands why the ghost falls here. Ghost Fall, the Ghost Gate has never interfered in the dispute between our Tianyun Villa and Dui sect. I didn't expect that you would fight for Dui sect today. Luo Xiong has a dignified face. Who would have thought that the Ghost Break Door would intervene in such a war? In this way, Tianyun Villa is in a bad situation. Jie, the elder, misunderstood. We Ghost Temple will not interfere in the affairs between your 2 families. The purpose of this temple is only Xiao Yang. He is the person named by our sect leader to catch. Since he has arrived in the central region, I naturally have the obligation to bring him back. If someone stops here, I will have to offend him. Once such words came out, whether in the city below or in the sky at the moment, the look on the faces of the Luo family immediately became a shock. Many people's eyes involuntarily fell on Xiao Yang at this time. It's hard to imagine that a Source Emperor would lead the deputy head of the Ghost Break Door to catch him personally, which is too sensational. At this moment, the mood of the Luo family in the presence could not help shaking again. If only Wu Du, a strong source, would be here, he would not have the slightest fear of Tianyun Villa, but the emergence of Ghost Fall instantly pulled the situation on the field to Duizhong. At this moment, if Tianyun Villa still came forward to protect Xiao Yang and his party, they have no doubt, Ghost Fall is bound to join hands with Wu Du to deal with his Tianyun Villa. At that time, even with Tai Astrolabe as support, it will be difficult to fight against the 2 strong Yuanzuan. Naturally, the result can be imagined. Letting go or not has become another choice for Tianyun Villa at the moment. At this moment, Xiao Yang is also unwilling to look at this scene on the field. He knows that it is the utmost benevolence and righteousness to let Tianyun Villa take risks and use the strength of the whole family to deal with Fu Duozong for them. Now it is really difficult to force them to make a choice. At this moment, it is his turn to come forward. Who? He took a deep breath. Xiao Yang smiled bitterly and looked at the little medical immortals and others on one side. Seeing the bitter expression on the faces of several people, he nodded slightly, immediately turned around and looked at Luo Xiong and others, bowed and said, "Thank you for your care in recent days. Today's business is from the younger generation and should be ended by me, so." Before the words fell, Xiao Yang suddenly turned around and looked at the ghost falling not far from the other side. In his eyes, he killed Lingran, and the source gas in his body suddenly gushed out at this moment. Let me face it. In the void, when the loud cry came from Xiao Yang's mouth, the magnificent source gas also swarmed out of his body, and the amazing momentum rose into the sky, which was quite extraordinary. Jie, your momentum is good, but your strength is too poor. In the end, you are just a Source Emperor. If you want to show off your authority in front of me, you can't measure your strength. Seeing Xiao Yang like this, the ghost fell with a sneer. In a pair of cloudy old eyes, the light became colder and colder. He, bullying a younger generation is nothing. It's better to be an old man and fight with him. However, just when the ghost fell sneering, there was another long old voice between heaven and earth, but I didn't know where it sounded and slowly echoed in everyone's ears. At the same time, the expression on the old face of the ghost fell immediately became gloomy. Huazhu, you haunting fellow, unexpectedly followed. The hoarse and low voice slowly came out of the mouth of Gaidu. While his voice fell, The expression on the face of anyone who heard this changed. It's unimaginable that Tianyun Villa and Duerzong would attract such a strong person for the first time in a century. Immediately after that, the void on Xiao Yang's side suddenly twisted. With a hot breath spreading, the figure of an old man in a white robe also appeared in the sky. Almost at the moment of the old man's appearance, the strange fire in Xiao Yang's body suddenly shook out of control, and his pair of painted black eyes were also at this moment completely fixed on the old man beside him. The strange appearance of different fire made him instantly find the old man's identity. There are only two possibilities that can lead to such a riot in his body. Either the old man has refined different fire like him, or he himself is the spirit of different fire. Different fires in the world have already turned into spirits. There can never be anyone else refining different fires except him. That is to say, the old man in front of us. Hehe, little friend, don't be surprised. The fate between you and me has long been doomed. When I see you today, it's also reasonable. If there's anything else, I'll talk about it later. For now, I'd better focus on these people first. Seeing the frightened look on Xiao Yang's face, Huozhu smiled calmly. Immediately, he turned his eyes, but looked at the 7 Roche males in the rear, smiling and nodding, saying, I've heard the reputation of the 7 heroes of Roche for a long time. If it's really extraordinary, I can give the ghost to me. As for Wu poison, I have to ask you. While talking, Huozhu slightly politely arched his hands at several people, and when Luo Xiong and others saw this, they all quickly returned gifts. It was beyond their expectation that Huozhu could appear at this moment. Looking at his appearance towards Xiao Yang, he seemed to have a good impression, which also made them suspicious. When did Xiao Yang know such a strong man? When the candle appeared, even if there was another commotion in the city below, the sound of commotion rang out one after another. The fire candle is the elder of Yangxianzong. Even he came today. It seems that he fell for the ghost. Hey, Yangxianzong and the Ghost Gate have always been competing against each other. The elder Huozhu has great prestige and strong strength in the sect. It is said that the elder Huozhu once fought with the master of the Ghost Gate in the past. Although there is no difference between the two, it is not comparable to the vice master of the Ghost Gate. It seems that there is nothing he can do today. When they see the fire and candle show up, their tense mood also stretches. If they can get the help of fire and candle, there are 2 strong Yuanzuan in Tianyun Villa. In this way, the situation on the field is flat again, and naturally there is nothing to worry about. Huozhu, you stirred up the game last time and left this boy gasping for breath. Now, if you dare to intervene again, do you really want to tear your face with my ghost break door? Seeing the fire like this, Ghost fell more and more angry, but Xiao Yang immediately recalled what had happened in the extreme south. Although he didn't know at that time, he also knew that there were 2 mysterious strong men because of his action. Now, listening to the Ghost fell's words, he understood that the 2 mysterious strong men who had taken action at the beginning, it is Ghost Falling and Fire. The inner thoughts flew around and connected with the falling heart inflammation that was taken away from his body. Xiao Yang can easily guess that the essence of the fire candle elder is undoubtedly falling heart inflammation. Hehe, boy, this is not a time for distraction. Although I can help you stop the ghost falling, you have to deal with the rest by yourself. Glancing at Xiao Yang, who was slightly absent-minded, the candle smiled and reminded him. Immediately, his body trembled, leaving a residual shadow in place, and his body had already appeared in the void in front of the ghost. Ghost fall, let's end it between you and me today. As soon as he shouted, the 2 figures had already collided in one place. On the other side, Luo Cheng and the elders of Tianyun Villa also collided with the strong ones of Duizong again. At the same time, the eyes of the 7 heroes of Luo also fell on Wu Poison opposite, and their eyes became colder and colder. While Xiao Yang was inspecting his eyes, a figure wrapped under the black robe suddenly appeared in front of Xiao Yang. The figure slowly looked up and revealed a pair of scarlet eyes hidden behind the mask under the black robe. Seeing that look, Xiao Yang was stunned at first, immediately glanced and sneered and said, "It's the Lord of the Owl Hall. Why did you come here today to die?" Although he just glanced at it, Xiao Yang recognized it at a glance with his strange eyes. The man in front of him was the Lord of the Owl Hall who was rescued by Ghost after the First World War in the far south. He just didn't expect that this guy could still stand here alive. "Jeh. Sharp-mouthed boy, the last time I missed, it was the carelessness of the Hall Lord, but this time, the Hall Lord will deal with you personally. Let's see how you can escape from my palm." The Lord of the Owl Hall smiled faintly, and the soles of his feet took a step forward slowly. A strange black fog escaped from under the black robe. At the same time, a strong breath also diffused from his body. 4-star source sect. Xiao Yan raised his eyebrows and looked surprised. Unexpectedly, this guy had good luck to break through his cultivation after the last World War I, but even so, it was not within the scope of his threat. Today, this temple will be shamed before the snow. This video will end here.